Toddler hitting that happens once is a moment. Hitting that happens over and over to the same kids week after week is a pattern, and it needs a different response. If you're watching your toddler hit repeatedly, hovering by every other child at the park, or whether you're the parent of a child who keeps getting hit and you're losing patience with, let's check in with the other kiddo, this video is for you. Every week, repeated hitting goes unaddressed. The other kids learn to flinch and avoid your toddler, and you miss the window where this is easiest to redirect. In my practice, repeated aggression is one of the most common concerns that families bring me, and it never responds to shame or to ignoring it. It responds to a specific sequence. Stay until the end and I'll tell you exactly what to do the moment your child hits back after being hit themselves. The scenario that trips up almost every parent. Now, if you've seen my video on checking in with the hurt child first, that's still right for a single hit, but repeated hitting needs more. Checking in every time and stopping there teaches empathy, but doesn't change a child who's hitting over and over again. Harsh punishment like yelling or a harsh timeout with no explanation can suppress it in the moment, but it doesn't teach the skill underneath, and often just adds shame to a toddler who doesn't yet have the impulse control to stop on their own. You're not wrong for wanting this to stop immediately, you just haven't had the full sequence yet. Now, here's what is actually happening developmentally. Physical aggression rises through ages 2 to 3 and then declines through the preschool years as self-regulation develops. The task isn't teaching your child not to be aggressive, it's helping them control an impulse that's already there. Picture their impulse control like brakes still being installed. The car's already moving and your job is building the brakes, not yelling at the driver. Now, here's the method to use. I call this the catch method. Close supervision, arm's length interruption, tell the consequence, consistent follow through, and hand them an alternative. 5 letters, 5 steps, and I'm about to walk you through exactly what each one sounds like. First, close supervision. Fair warning on the first step here. Close supervision is going to feel like more work than you're doing right now. And that's exactly why it works. Because catching the behavior early is what makes every later step possible. Now, as a quick aside, inside my free workshop, I walk you through the full consequences piece of my 5Cs parenting framework. The one thing that surprises most parents in that is that effective consequences isn't about severity at all. It's about how quickly and consistently it follows the behavior. That single shift changes how fast a pattern like repeated hitting actually resolves. If you want the complete framework, it's free at drlindsayEmerson.com/workshop. Okay, now back to step 2, arm's length interruption. For a child with a pattern of repeated hitting, close supervision means physically staying within arm's reach during play with other children. Not across the room, not glancing over occasionally. This is temporary and is not a punishment. It's how you catch the behavior before it lands instead of after. When you see the wind up, get your hand between the children or hold your child's hand and say calmly, I won't let you hit, or we do not hit. The exact wording should feel right to you. Not, why did you do that? Not a lecture, just plain, calm interruption, said the same way every time. If you've been hovering near your child at every playdate, already exhausted, this is exactly the right instinct, and it's temporary. Close supervision loosens as the pattern changes. Third, tell the consequence. Immediately after the interruption or right after the hit that wasn't caught in time, check in with the hurt child first. Then state the consequence to your child in one calm sentence. You hit, so we're stepping away from this play for a few minutes. This is where consistency research becomes so important. An effective consequence is defined as anything that decreases the likelihood of a behavior happening again, and its power comes specifically from being applied the same way every time. So this is what I mean when I say a consequence is not about being harsh, it's about being predictable. So here's the part that surprises most parents. The words matter less than the pattern. Say the same sentence, the same way, every single time, and the predictability itself is what teaches the lesson. Fourth, consistent follow through. This step is where most well-intentioned plans fall apart. So stating the consequence and then not following through because the child cries or apologizes, or you're at someone else's house and it feels awkward. Follow through anyway. Calmly walk your child a short distance away from the play area for a few minutes. This is time away rather than a classic time out. It's not about isolation as punishment. It's a brief, predictable pause that removes access to the thing that the behavior was affecting, the playdate. If your child continues to cry or protest, you can stay with them the entire time. The removal from the play area is the consequence, not the crying itself. Does this sound familiar? If you've ever stated a consequence and then let the puppy dog apology talk you out of it, this step is exactly why the pattern kept repeating. Now let's do a little before and after here. Without the method, a hit, a scolding, and the child goes right back to playing next to the same friend seconds later. With the method, a hit, one calm sentence, brief step away, and the child returns only once the play resumes on a reset footing. Now, fifth, hand them an alternative. The final step is teaching the replacement skill during a calm moment, not in the heat of it. So later in the day, perhaps when you're back at your house and things are calm, they're well fed, well rested, you might say something like, when you're mad, you can hit a pillow, or you can stomp your feet, or you can holler for me and I'll come help you. Practice this once or twice when everyone is calm. So have them choose the method they want to try first. Maybe it's the pillow. Literally get out a pillow and have them practice hitting it so that when they're upset, that feels like a natural option. So it's the choice they can make in the moment. You want it to be already familiar before the next frustrating moment arrives. Now, this is the piece that turns stopping hitting into learning what to do instead, which is the actual long-term goal. Now, in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do if your child hits back after being hit themselves, because this is the moment that trips up almost every parent. If your child is hit and then hits back, the sequence is the same. Check in with the hurt child, even if it's yours, and name both feelings, and still apply the consequence for hitting. The "they hit me first" reasoning doesn't change the fact that hitting isn't an option, even in self-defense from a toddler. You can absolutely validate the anger. You were mad she took your toy. Hitting isn't okay. Let's find another way. Let me touch on that concept of time away once more. Parents sometimes worry that stepping a child away from the play feels cold or punitive. It isn't. You're not withdrawing your child. You're not withdrawing your love. You're pausing access to a specific situation your child isn't ready to safely navigate yet. And you're staying calm and present the entire time. The distinction is between rejecting the child and instead we're just pausing the behavior's opportunity to repeat. Okay, let's look at the timeline here. Day 1, expect the same hitting, possibly even a spike as your child tests whether the consequence is really consistent. That's normal, not a sign that it's failing. Days 3 to 5, you'll notice a pause before the hit, a moment where your child seems to catch themselves. Weeks 2 to 3, the pattern itself starts to shift. Not just in the moment, the hitting becomes less frequent and less intense, replaced more often by the alternative you've practiced. They're still kids, they're still learning, it's going to take time, be patient. Here's the part that nobody tells you. Stopping the hitting is only half of it. Other kids may start to flinch when they see your child coming, and other parents may hover closer. And that's not a verdict on your child. It's a reasonable response to a real pattern, and it fades the way that it formed through consistent evidence. This connects to something that I've talked about before, the over-apology. A long, repeated apology to other parents doesn't make anyone feel safer, and your child sees a grown-up managing fallout instead of teaching a lesson. What actually builds trust is quieter, staying close during play, following through the same calm way every time, and letting other parents see that consistency instead of just hearing you promise it. Trust comes back through what they observe over several weeks and months, not just what you say in the moment. If other kids have started keeping their distance, that's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign the pattern was real, and the catch method is what starts closing the gap. Now, picture a play date 4 weeks from now. Another child grabs a toy from your toddler, and the older you would have frozen, bracing for the hit. Instead, you watch your child's hand come up, pause, and then instead of hitting, they stomp their foot on the ground and say no loudly or come find you. And that's not just a toddler whose hitting stopped in one moment. That's a child who's learned to catch their own impulse, which is a real skill underneath every version of this. Same toy, same grab, same two kids, just a completely different ending because you used the catch method instead of hoping that it would resolve on its own. Now, if today's method gave you something useful, my free workshop walks you through the full consequences piece of the 5Cs parenting framework, the same framework behind the catch method, and how to apply consistent, effective consequences to almost any repeated behavior. You can register at drlindsayEmerson.com/workshop. And the Amazing Parents Club members get ongoing support working through their child's specific pattern with me. Comment catch below if repeated hitting is something that you're dealing with right now. I love reading comments from you. And if you've ever watched my video on what to do when your child takes a toy, you know the acknowledge and anchor instinct. It's often what prevents hitting patterns from starting in the first place. I've got a video coming out soon on the flip side when another kid takes your child's toy. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll put it here when it's ready, and keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey.